You are not a monster. That is what you tell yourself. You are a professional, a specialist, a man who solves problems that other men are too weak, too soft, too law-abiding to solve. Somewhere tonight, a family is about to lose someone, and you are the reason. This is not a story about villains in movies. This is the real machinery of human ransom, the planning, the patience, the cold arithmetic of a life measured in dollars. You did not become this overnight. Nobody does. You remember the first job differently than you remember the others. The others blur. The first one never does. You were young, broke, angry at a world that had never once handed you anything. Someone older than you, someone with cold eyes and a colder voice, told you there was money in taking things that couldn't be replaced. Not objects, people. You didn't sleep for a week after that conversation. But the money was real. And the man who paid you did not care about your conscience, only your discretion. You learn quickly that this life runs on a currency deeper than cash. It runs on silence, on patience, on the ability to look at another human being and see only a transaction. The first time is the hardest. After that, something in you goes quiet. Not dead, quiet. You tell yourself you are not like the ones who hurt people for pleasure. You tell yourself you are a businessman, a negotiator, someone who returns what he takes for a price. You will spend years convincing yourself of this. Some nights you almost believe it. Every operation begins long before anyone disappears. Weeks, sometimes months. You study a life the way a surgeon studies an X-ray, clinically, patiently, without emotion. You learn who a person loves, who they trust, who would pay to see them again, and how much that love is truly worth in dollars. Wealth is not always the deciding factor. Desperation is. A family with modest means but boundless love can be squeezed just as hard as a company with a bottomless account. You are not looking for a victim. You are looking for leverage, a human being who represents something irreplaceable to someone else. This is the darkest truth of the trade. The person you take is never really the target. The target is the love that surrounds them. You exploit that love like a fault line. You know exactly where it will crack. There are others in this world who do this work, networks, cells, hierarchies stretching across borders. Some are ideological. Some are purely commercial. All of them depend on one thing, fear traveling faster than the truth. Here is what the films never show you, the unbearable stillness after it happens. Once someone is gone, the real work becomes psychological. You are not managing a person anymore. You are managing a family's terror. Every hour that passes is a weapon. Silence is pressure. A family that hears nothing begins to imagine the worst, and that imagination does half your work for you. You feel nothing you are proud of during this part. You feel the low hum of your own humanity trying to surface, and you push it back down the way you always do. Somewhere, a mother is staring at a phone that will not ring. Somewhere, a father is bargaining with a God he stopped believing in years ago. You know this. You have learned to live beside this knowledge without letting it touch you. This is the price of the profession, not danger, not violence, but the slow erosion of your own conscience, transaction by transaction, until you barely recognize the person you used to be. Money changes hands the way water finds the lowest point, quietly, inevitably, through channels built to leave no trace. Every conversation with a frightened family is a performance. You are calm because panic is expensive. You are patient because patience is what breaks people down to their final offer. You have learned that fear negotiates against itself. Left alone long enough, desperate people will always raise their own price. This is not simply cruelty. It is method. Every hesitation, every silence, every deadline is engineered to extract the maximum a family can bear. No more, no less. You never let yourself imagine the child's bedroom sitting empty. You never let yourself imagine the anniversary that will never be celebrated the same way again. If you did, you could not do this job. The world you operate in is unforgiving in ways the public rarely sees. Law enforcement task forces exist for exactly this crime. Specialists trained to trace money, trace patterns, trace the small mistakes that eventually undo even careful men. Every operation carries the possibility of catastrophic failure. A trace. Partner who talks. A family that goes to authorities against every instruction you gave them. You live inside a permanent low-grade fear, not of getting caught doing something wrong, but of losing everything you have built pretending this was ever sustainable. There is no retirement plan in this life. There is only the next job, and the growing weight of everything you refuse to feel. Other men in this trade have vanished, swallowed by prison, by rival networks, by their own escalating violence. You have seen what happens to those who let the power go to their heads. You have told yourself you are different. You are not. If everything goes as planned, the story ends the way it began. Quietly. A family reunited, forever changed. A payment moved through hands until it disappears into anonymity. A name that will never appear in any headline. You feel something, in these final hours. Not guilt exactly, but its shadow. A recognition of the terror you manufactured. Now dissolving into relief that was never truly yours to grant. You tell yourself this is why you are not like the others, the ones who don't give people back. You tell yourself this makes you, somehow, less guilty. It does not. Here is what no one in this life will ever say out loud. You do not do this for the money alone. You do it because somewhere along the way you stopped believing you had another way out. Because cruelty, practiced long enough, starts to feel like a skill instead of a wound. You have taken fathers from daughters. Daughters from fathers. You have manufactured the worst night of strangers' lives and called it a job well done. There is no clean version of this profession. There is no line you can draw that makes taking a human being for profit anything less than what it is. You know this. You have always known this. And still, you go back out into the dark, because the man you were before this life feels farther away with every job you finish. Every profession leaves a mark on the person who practices it. This one leaves the deepest mark of all, not on the body, but on whatever part of a person still remembers what it felt like to be good. You took people's most irreplaceable possession, their sense of safety, and sold it back to them at a price you set. And in the end, the only thing you never learned to take back was your own conscience. Because the truest ransom was never paid in money. It was paid quietly, in the parts of yourself you gave away to become this.